touch my lips, I wanna be your mouthpiece. In these days it feels like midnight, cause the wicked hand's not caught. But this day I pray in our hearts love will reign again. Peace, let your peace flow out of my voice into their hearts, invading their souls. Peace, never hold on our peace today, so we can
ordering KFC online is good morning again. We are back from tippy-toeing and taking an outside breather and taking some sunlight. So welcome back to those who have been here with us from 9 o'clock. And welcome to those who have just joined us. So we are in our second session for the morning. And let me just inform you, the register is being circulated already for this session. So you have the manual register going around. So you can go ahead and sign that register for this second session, that is. So for our second session, we'll be looking at the topic, developing authentic stream inquiry experiences for infants and toddlers. And you must be wondering, stream, why me keep on a ear stream, and me keep on a ear stem, and me keep on a ear steam? It is a newfound way of delivering teaching and learning to children. So the acronym STREAM, science, technology, reading, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And again, we have a presenter with us, but he's online. Thanks again to virtual reality. His name is Professor Okebukola. I hope I got it right. So Peter Okebukola is an emeritus professor of science and computer education at Lagos State University, Nigeria. He had his higher education at the University of Ibadan, where he obtained his bachelor's degree in 1973, followed by a master's and a PhD degree in science education at the same university. He had specialized science and technology training at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, and Harvard University, which are both in Cambridge. He won the prestigious 1992 UNESCO Prize for Communication of Science. He has won several international gold medals in science, environmental, and computer education. He has served as a team leader, of several quality assurance projects involving UNESCO, the African Union, the World Bank, Association of African Universities, and the Global University Network for Innovation. He is currently the chairman of the Council of National Open University of Nigeria, in short, NOUN. He is the executive chairman, Okebukola Science Foundation, and he was the executive secretary of the National Universities Commission from 2001 to 2006. Before we invite Mr. Peter Okebukola to the screen, I'm going to ask that you write down your questions while he presents. If something comes to you, write down your questions and your comments. And we also, at the end of it, we wanted to give us your feedback. So continue to actually share our ECC PDI 2024 on the social media platforms as well, hashtag ECC PDI 2024, 12 Standards Matter. Let us make welcome our presenter for developing authentic stream inquiry experiences for infants and toddlers, Professor Peter Okebukola.
Thank you. Your Excellencies, dear participants at this 4th Professional Development Institute that started on Monday, today being Wednesday. This is the day I'm scheduled to be with you. Yes, I wished I was with you physically. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen until, by God's special grace, sometime next year when we have the 5th Professional Development Institute. I'm Peter Okebukola. I am joining you from Africa, West Africa, and of course, Nigeria, in a great city called Lagos. I bring you greetings from everybody, 1.3 billion people in Africa, to a great country, Jamaica. I'm so proud of the organizers of this Professional Development Institute, the 4th one. I was part of that of last year and the year before. And I tell you that it's been very enriching for me. And after being part of the Institute, I learned quite a lot of things from you, which I pass on to other colleagues in Africa. I love the theme of this PDI, a place to belong. A chart of this. There are several tracks in this workshop. We have the first track of parenting, the other one, early learning and care, track 3, inclusion, track 4, where I'm going to be working with you, stream. I'm going to stream it live, nice. And then the classroom, toolbox, and the homes, and the arts, and then the last track, which is track 7, leadership, Advocacy Board Chairman Training modules. I'd like to pay special appreciation to the Executive Director, Mrs. Colleen DeGrasse Deslandis, for the invitation, and also Nicole Morgan, kept in touch with me. I'm asked to share some thoughts with you on developing authentic stream inquiry experiences for infants and toddlers. STREAM, as we know, is science, technology, reading, engineering, arts, and mathematics. You can see all these subjects brought into the pot of soup. It's like cooking pepper soup. Pepper soup, where you come to Nigeria and give you pepper soup to eat. Very nice. So you have tomatoes, you have pepper, you have onions, you have all of this mixed together, and it tastes very nice. It streams into the stomach nicely. So we are streaming now because we are looking at how we can develop science, technology, reading, engineering, arts, mathematics stream experiences for infants and toddlers. And this involves creating environments and activities that foster curiosity, exploration, and foundational learning in the stream areas. Now, as we're all aware, we've been hearing this from Monday, today's Wednesday, and we know all of this over the years, that early childhood is critical period for cognitive, social, and emotional development. Get it wrong, and things will never be the same again. That's why I appreciate the PDIs, the fourth one, going to have the fifth one, and God helping us several, so that over the years, we build our capacities to be able to get Jamaican infants, toddlers, to be the best they can be. I foresee that in another 20 years, maybe 30, Jamaica will be the #1 country in the world in terms of development that is fostered through stream. And I think that will happen if we implement all the things that we agreed to do during the course of this training. Let's look at some principles of stream. The first is not in any order, by the way, is play-based learning. Play-based learning. Infants play around. While they are playing around, they are learning. Infants and toddlers learn best through play, which naturally incorporates elements of stream. Play provides opportunities for exploration, for experimentation, and discovery. Let's look at another principle. That's a principle of integration across disciplines. So it's not standalone science, it's not standalone engineering, it's not standalone arts, it's not standalone mathematics, but an interplay of the different elements in these subjects. Stream disciplines are interconnected. Activities should seamlessly blend elements of science, as I said earlier, of technology, of reading, of engineering, of arts and mathematics to reflect real-world experiences. Let's look at another principle, and that's the principle of responsive interaction. Now, educators and caregivers like us attending this PDI must be responsive to children's cues and interests, providing support and extending learning opportunities based on the child's natural curiosity. Let's take another principle. Sensory engagement. Young children explore the world primarily through their senses. So stream activities should involve sensory experiences that stimulate sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. At the end of the first part of my presentation, I'm going to take you through a practical demonstration of how stream had come to play in a particular case study that involved an African child. Now, what are the strategies for developing stream inquiry experiences? What are those strategies? One is that you should create a rich environment. A rich environment should be created. You should provide a variety of materials and resources that encourage exploration. Blocks, natural objects, art supplies, simple technology, and the rest of them. And then safety is important. Look at child rights. The child has a right to safety. So we have to design spaces that are safe, spaces that are engaging, that are adaptable to different activities and development stages. The other strategy is incorporating science. Now, how do you apply that? Now, nature walks and outdoor play to observe plants, to observe animals, and the weather. The case study that I'm going to be sharing with you is about the weather, about the cloud, about the sky, and that's an outdoor thing. So that is one strategy. The children, the infant, the toddler, take them out, let them explore, nature. The other is letting them conduct simple experiments like mixing colors, or water play to explore physical properties. Although I wasn't a toddler, but when I got into my attraction into science was when I visited a school as a youngster, and I was passing by the chemistry lab, and I saw the students, they would pour some liquid, another, and they change the color. Oh, what magic is happening here? They were doing simple titration. They put an indicator, it will change methyl orange from orange to pink, and then phenolphthalein from colorless to pink. I mean, very exciting. So that drew my attention to science, and happy to let you know that I ventured into science, and I've tried all over, to get children to love science. And I'm also happy to let you know that in 1992, I was the first African to win the prestigious UNESCO prize for the communication of science. I communicate science to little kids, and that excites them, and they want to study science. So by the time you as parents, as caregivers, and all of us that are here, we expose our students to science alongside the other elements in stream, it will be a very bright future for them. The other is integrating technology. We should use age-appropriate technology such as interactive books and simple digital tools. And we should also encourage cause and effect play with toys that respond to actions such as push buttons, light up toys, and the rest of them. Very importantly, we're talking about stream, and the R there is reading. Reading is important. We should promote reading and language. We should read aloud regularly to the infant, to the toddler, using books that integrate stream concepts, and encourage storytelling. Children, they love stories, and teach them stories or tell them stories that have the elements of stream in it, and language development through conversations and naming of objects. Let's look at engineering now. Taking them one by one. Let's look at engineering play. we should provide building materials like blocks, right, recycled materials to construct structures. We should also encourage problem solving and critical thinking through activities like stacking and balancing. We're moving on now to arts integration. We should offer a variety of art materials and encourage creative expression. We should use music and movement to explore patterns, rhythm, and coordination. Hey, we're moving on to M of stream. And what is it? Yes, you got it. Mathematics. So we should incorporate counting, sorting, and pattern recognition into the daily routines of infants and toddlers. And use puzzles, and shape sorters to develop special awareness and problem-solving skills. So what are our roles as educators and caregivers? I've actually said all of them earlier, but let's focus on let's cluster them around a few sub-themes. We should model inquiry, demonstrate curiosity and willingness to explore and ask questions. We should facilitate exploration. How do we do that? We should provide opportunities for open-ended play and exploration and allow children to take the lead in the learning. So it's not about teaching them this is let them explore. And then when they, in quotes now, get stuck, then you come to the rescue, in quotes. Then there's scaffolding learning. You should offer support and guidance to extend children's thinking. That's what I've just said. And understanding without directing or controlling the play. Observing and reflecting. You should regularly observe children's interests and developmental progress to inform the planning of future activities. So let me now go into a demonstration, a case study, which will exemplify some of these things that I have narrated. Yeah, so let's get on with the case study component of my presentation on this track on stream. Again, I'd like to appreciate the organizers with the Early Childhood Commission, Annual Professional Development Institute, and I'd like to show you what Theo has been able to do. Theo is a Nigerian Canadian, and he lives in Linwood, Washington State in the US. He's 5 years old. He goes to daycare. His mother is a real estate manager and designer. The father is a computer engineer. Now, so you can see the father, the mother, you can see Theo himself, and you see that he has this outstanding science kit with so many experiments that he carries out as frequently as he can. Now, he has done experiments on eruptive volcano and quite a lot of things, archaeological excavation, and all of that. So the first thing I engaged him is on how clouds are formed. So we're in the kitchen. We're talking about stream in the home. So in the kitchen, we got a kettle, boil some water, and you can see the vapor going out and forming some cloud. And we went out to look at types of clouds. So we looked at signs in the home, also within the home. So let's see what
Theo. Theo is the Commonwealth scientist, young scientist. I'm here in Linwood, in Washington State. Today is the 28th day of January 2024.
Yes.
And Theo is going to study clouds. Activity sheet number 21, written
yes,
by
okay, fine. So let us look at findings. Now, Theo wanted to know how clouds are formed before venturing into types. because I wanted to teach him about types of clouds. I wanted to show him types of clouds. He said, no, how are clouds formed? And so we went to the kitchen, and we did a small experiment, and then that's it. Now, at the time I took him out, the sky was overcast, and it was difficult seeing all the different types listed in activity sheet number 21. However, we had cumulus, we had nimbus, and cumulonimbus clouds. You wonder, how will a 5-year-old cope with these names? But it did. And many of them, we talk about reading, we talk about language, so that is streaming action too. So Theo showed fondness for the names and asked about who gave the names to the clouds. You can see how inquisitive they are. Oh, cumulus. Who gave the name? Who? He said yes, he knows who gave him his own name Theo, but who gave nimbus? Who gave cumulonimbus? He was excited about the activities of formation and types of clouds and boasted that he will teach other children in his playgroup, and even the caregivers about the names of clouds. So Theo insisted in sharing his thoughts of the usefulness of clouds. So after the activity, whenever he's being driven in the car, he will gladly point to the sky. When you take Theo on the right, he's always looking at the sky. Oh, this is cumulus. This is nimbus. This is cumulonimbus. So this is what PDI, fourth PDI, this is what we expect that you should expose the children to. Even if you don't have all the materials for the home experiments, outside, you see, I talked about the strategies, you take them out and you'll be able to see that. So there are some things we call science process skills. They are important as our infants and toddlers grow up. What are the science process skills? Observing, classifying, experimenting, inferring, measuring, predicting. All of that. There are 13 up to 15 science process skills. But in this study of the clouds, of the sky that I took Theo, I was able to observe, he was able to classify, we did experimentation, and he was able to infer. So there are some scientific attitudes that's different from the process skills. These attitudes include perseverance. So you want early in the developmental process for the children, the infant, the toddlers to be able to learn or acquire these scientific attitudes of perseverance, intellectual honesty. If you have seen blue, report it as blue. If you have seen red, report it as red. If you have seen blue and the expectation is that it should be red, you don't say you have seen red. Safety consciousness, very important. Critical mindedness, also very important. And then questioning attitude. Questioning. Children are always questioning. So let's see here again. He's doing quite a number of experiments. This is one of them. The mother is guiding him. It's important that you can see he's getting frustrated. As perseverance, coming to play. They want to do the coloring the volcano. Yes.
See how it is in the picture?
Yeah, but I just want to do this. How would it actually erupt?
So you can see safety in action. He has his gloves. He has his safety goggles, and he's wearing protective clothing. And so you keep an eye on them, and you see how they explore, they experiment. So let's go on with Theo. Theo, what's cooking here?
So we need to fill it up
right you can see he's learning measurement.
That line right there.
That's an important scientific process.
60s, 50.
And also
just
communicate.
in between, halfway between 40 and 60.
We'll be writing
Can you
down
put,
too, so it's all part of it.
water?
Reading
In
is there.
between this.
Yes.
Yep, that line right there, that's 50. Can you fill it up to 50?
So may
So
I
I'm just
encourage
straight.
all
So I'm
participants,
just gonna do like
educators,
this.
caregivers,
Exactly. And you're gonna fill
in
it
this
up
fourth
till you
PDI
get just past 40.
to
So when you see 40,
engage
go a little bit
your
more.
infants, your toddlers in some activities. As I said, you may not have all these
now,
all these
you
kits
put
at
3
home
drops.
on account of
So very gently, drop
economy.
3.
You can
And
just
don't
take
put
them
all
out,
of
Yep,
it.
just
let
1,
them
2,
observe
3.
the skies, observe plants, observe animals, and the rest of them. So you can see, you're seeing some colors change there.
Good job.
That's it. 4 was about the color.
Okay, now you're gonna mix that up. Maybe you can just swirl it gently. Or
Wonderful.
you can use the end of your paintbrush.
Yeah, it's going to stir.
We just finished 2 experiments, one on the volcano and one on the blowing of the balloon.
Oh yes, finished 2
I'm
experiments.
asking Julie, Theo's mom,
Theo's mother,
how does it feel,
how does
working
Theo
with
feel
Theo
when he's
on these science experiments? You can see we have this science kit with several experiments. So Julie, tell us.
So doing this with Theo, we can just see his mind expanding, like the balloon expanded. You can see the wheels
so
turning.
what Julie is saying is that
And
he's excited
seeing him
when
get excited
the
to
experiment
learn.
succeeds. The experiment
very
doesn't succeed. He's also
compelling.
excited.
Very
and he tries
fulfilling.
to
Now,
find
when
out
he
why
gets it
the
wrong,
experiment has not succeeded.
when he's doing an experiment and he doesn't feel happy about about the process or about the output, and how does he react?
Yes.
So Theo can definitely get frustrated.
Yeah, okay,
Not seeing the
frustrated.
results.
Yeah.
So I think
Like I
that's something
said.
with kids especially.
Yeah, so dear participants, we've seen that case study of Theo. By the way, Theo is my grandson. I have 12 of them, my 12 grandchildren. That's the last but one, and is doing very well. So integrating STREAM, inquiry experiences, into early childhood education for infants and toddlers is crucial for fostering a love of learning and building foundational skills. By creating rich, responsive, and engaging environments, educators and caregivers can support the natural curiosity and development of young children in meaningful ways. This approach not only prepares children for future academic success, but also nurtures their overall cognitive, social, and emotional growth. Early childhood is critical period, as I mentioned earlier, for cognitive, social, and emotional development. So including infants and toddlers to STREAM through play and exploration can lay the groundwork for lifelong learning and interest in these fields. We have outlined the principles and practices of developing authentic STREAM experiences in this presentation for young children, emphasizing the importance of inquiry-based learning and providing real-world examples for our children. I am delighted again to be with you, and I'm sorry that I'm not able to join you physically, but by God's grace, the 5th edition, I'm hoping that I will be able to join you. So from me, Peter Okebukola in Nigeria, I wish you all the very best.
Have any questions for Professor? He's actually online in regards to STREAM, science, technology, reading, engineering, arts, and mathematics. Any questions? You've been hearing about this for quite some time now. I am sure that when your children are watching the tablets or having their screen time, you hear them talking about STREAM, STEM, STEAM. Do you know what it is? Do you have any questions? No questions? Comments? No comments? Nothing? All right, let me start it off. Professor, so for
Yes.
a parent, well, in our culture, sometimes we look at things and say, I don't have that in my home. I can't buy that. I cannot afford that. And some of the parents might be saying the same thing too as it relates to the resources in order to initiate certain activities with our children to bring out the whole stream, STEM, or STEAM. What do you say to that? Not having the resources to fund, not having the finances to fund these resources to actually undertake the whole STEAM, stream, STEM thing.
Yeah, thank you very much. Again, I am not able to join you physically. That was why I had to record my presentation so that if there is a hiccup or challenge with the network, I will be able to still have delivered the presentation. I mentioned during the course of the presentation, you can see Theo's parents were able to get him tools for his experiments. But I said also that if you can afford to buy this, relating that to your question now, and many parents, let's look at Africa, about 70% of Africans live below the poverty line. What does that mean? That means, look, they don't have enough resources to do other things, so that maybe eat 1 or 2 meals a day and all of that. So if a child comes, your toddler, your infant, all you want to do is give the toddler, the infant, food. You're asking for a beaker, you are asking for some resources for experimentation. That would be a hassle. But what I said is that without these ready-made resources, the world out there, the nature is out there. If you take your toddler, take your toddler out, even within the home, a lot of science is happening, a lot of mathematics, a lot of technology, a lot of reading that can be achieved. So let's even take art. Let's take art as art, and then arts as a big discipline. So whatever the parent, poor or rich, can afford is what should be made available. And as I said, the world out there is there. The world is out there. Nature is out there to explore. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. So basically, using what you have in your reach, because the whole idea of stream, it provides for you to just use simple things. So for example, when he spoke about the clouds, how clouds are formed, you get your kettle and you put it on the stove. Of course, you need to be there with the children, safety. Safety comes first. And the steam coming out of the kettle, and you have a conversation about that. And while you are teaching, they are learning, and vice versa. You go outside and you look at your plants, and I'm sure the practitioners who are here teaching the children about plants. You feel how the leaf feels, you see how the plant grows, what it needs. Those are some of the things that you can do. So you don't have to think about the expensive stuff, as he says. Another example, in terms of the A section of stream, the arts. Go to do, dip your hand in a little mud. Flash. We don't like children being messy, but messy is a part of learning. Get the paint, get the paper, your blank sheet, and you let them do what they do best, which is play and learn at the same time. So it doesn't have to be expensive in order to be fun. So you just use what you have around you. I'm just guiding the whole discussion here, Professor, based on the fact that I'm a community relations officer, and sometimes the teachers would actually say that, but this new stream, discussion that is going on in the world now, how do I, as a teacher, carry out this in my classroom? So we have some practitioners in the audience. So probably that's something they might have in their thoughts and they don't want to ask it, but I'm going to ask it for them. How do I carry out this in my classroom with my infants and my toddlers?
Very well. For toddlers, for infants, I don't know how you the age range, but the infant's an infant. The infant, you see, stream has science. Science is observing. When you let the infant or the toddler observe, oh, tell me, what can you see there? Oh, I can see the mango. I can see the chameleon. I can see the leaves green. That is science. Reading is reading. Reading, you hold a book, oh, A for apple, B, C, D, you're talking about reading. And then when the child is older, you can read some few sentences, just like Theo. Theo is 5 years old and he reads. He writes me letters. In fact, I'll just look for his letter now before we finish. He writes me letters. So apart from reading, also writing is another that will come into the mix of stream. We have science, we have technology, we have reading, we have engineering, we have arts, and then we have mathematics. So it doesn't need to be at the high end. So in the class, what is mathematics? Mathematics is just, okay, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's mathematics at the other end. Now, arts is, you've just said it, and the kids they love it. Give them some paper and they will sketch, they will draw, they will do all of that. Okay, technology is everywhere too. A phone, any of these devices that you can bring to class, they love it. They love to tear it open. So, but don't let them tear it open. So when you talk about stream, you're not looking at the curriculum that is packaged in a way for the infant and the toddler. But as you progress to what we call in Nigeria, primary 2, 3, 4, that's equivalent of grade 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way like that, then it becomes part of the curriculum. So as a teacher, you have no choice other than to see what the curriculum provides, and then you, as a teacher, delivers it. So it needn't be, as I summarize, let me sum up this answer. It needn't be something at the high end of stream. It can be as lowly as a simple thing like classifying. Okay, fine. Look at all these objects. Can you put them together? Oh, put them together. Okay, can put the ones that are living, the ones that are not living, can put them together by way of colors, can put them together by way of shapes. That is science, classifying. Observing, I mentioned it. Experimenting, and then technology, I mentioned it. So you can go on like that. But it doesn't even mean that every interaction, every classroom, every class session should have the entire stream. Mathematics can miss out in this particular interaction with the children. Can miss out, and in some we can have the entire stream. So let's be as flexible, as innovative, as creative as possible, and let's have fun. Let's have fun with the children with stream.
All right, thank you very much, Professor. Just as you said, based on all of what you actually just said, they're actually carrying out the whole stream in the classroom already, but not in the sense of how we are conceptualizing it on paper. So you're actually doing it in the classroom and you're actually doing it at home. It's now that you're seeing that, okay, it has a name. It comes with a acronym now. So you're in the kitchen and you need in the flour. You need the water. The water helps to get it together. And that's science. Your children are growing and they're observing. And while they observe, you have a conversation, they have a conversation. And while the conversation goes on, the vocabulary is building, true or false? Yes. We have a comment down the bottom, Shirley.
Everything about the streams per se. So it's in the home, it's in the class, it's outside, as Professor said before. So we have been doing it a long time. The fact is, probably some of us never realized we actually have been doing it.
Thank you very much. It needs to be more meaningful now. So meaningful in the sense that while you're doing it, is not just doing it for doing its sake. So we're doing the mathematics when she said counting the dumpling, we peel the banana, how much bananas we put in the pot. So that's a good point. Good, hard and soft, very good.
All right, I would just like to add to the conversation to say, yes, we are all doing it. We are all doing it when we sit and listen. But I think what we need to improve on or to enhance is to be intentional in our planning when we are planning. So let us say we are going to do our lessons. We must be intentional. That means we're going to take the stream, the S into consideration, the T into consideration, everything as to tie in. So, you know, there's, as I say, meaning to the thing. And there is this thing that I learned at a PDI early on where this presenter told us about this teacher that was having a class and they were doing nature. It has to do with nature. So they were doing leaves and they were sorting leaves. I don't know how many persons were at the PDI, but I heard this part and it has stuck with me and I'm now sharing it. And they were sorting leaves according to size, to the size of the leaves or the shape, how the leaves were shaped. And when the teacher reached to this particular child in the class, his leaves were sorted in terms of how they were used for tea. So the others were sorting the leaves according to how they were shaped, and his leaves were shaped, were sorted according to how his mom used them. So he was able to say to the teacher, Miss, these two, this and this one can make tea, this and this one make tea, this one and this one can't make tea. So right away we see science coming in, and they are able to tell which one to make tea, which one cannot make tea, and you see where the lesson will take us. So it's very important that as practitioners we be intentional in our planning.
I love that you find the word for me, teacher, intentional. I couldn't find it. So that is so true. Being intentional in carrying out the whole idea of STEAM, stream, and STEM. And parents, you're not left out, you know, as I said. Taking it into the home, it's not difficult. Our first socialization for the children is where? Home. So when you start interacting with them, this is where they learn before they go out into the world. So it's not different. When teacher talks about it in the classroom, it's not different for you at home. So the observation, the conversations, assisting the reading, the arts, where you are probably cleaning up the yard and probably you use the leaves to make collage, and they probably tell you, so the cloud look like one animal and stuff like that. So those are the things that we can carry out in the home and be intentional about it. And when you do the lessons, as you said, teacher, we are intentional about carrying out stream in the lesson. Any other comment? Any other questions? Anything from you, Professor, based on what you heard earlier from our two participants?
Oh yeah, I am quite excited about the about what he said, especially to be intentional. We don't let it be. There's a word in science, in mathematics, called stochastic. Stochastic means just allow the thing to happen. But this is one that you plan. You are intentional about it. You want to engage the children, the infant or the toddler in stream activity at home. Then you plan it. You look at the science that you want them to learn, or skills of science that you want them to acquire, or attitude of science that you want them to develop. You look at the technology, you look at the reading, you look at all of them, all the elements of stream, and be intentional. Plan it so that it's not just stochastic. It's not just whenever it happens, it happens. So I appreciate that. And I also appreciate what you, the moderator or chair of the session, said about affordability. I mean, the stream is everywhere. So you don't need to have a lot of money in your pocket as parents to be able to set up any stream activity for the children. So I'm quite delighted. I appreciate the opportunity for me to interact with members of the group, and I continue to wish you well. As I said during the opening, this is quite unique. And the last PDI, the third one, which I participated in, I listened. I watched all the lessons, all the presentations, and I had some recordings of my own, and I used it for our Nigerian early childhood care and development experts, parents. So I've run some. I am extending the Jamaican PDI to Nigeria. And so thank you very much. Wish you all well.
Thank you very much, Professor, and thank you for joining us. Let us give Professor a warm thank you.
Thank you.
And to add to that, when we carry out the whole activity of STREAM, we realize what our children are good at. So we see the scientists, we see the artist, we see the next mathematician, we see the next engineer. So we have to foster these developments. So getting an understanding today of the whole idea of STREAM was very good, because I'm sure some of us never really looked at observation that way. We never looked at painting or crayoning, even crayoning, you know. Sometimes your children crayon some things and you're like, what is that? Or draw something. And when they tell you the concept, it coming like with the Upper National Art Gallery and they're explaining something, you're like, really, you see all of that? Yeah.
To learn based on the objectives you want to carry out those things to, so they learn the concepts of whatever you're teaching. So I think the lesson plan is intentional in terms of streams or stems or...
Thank you for that. Yes. So thanks again, Professor. We really appreciate you taking the time to join us. Is it night there now, Professor? It's night. I think you're muted. You're not.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not muted. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you now.
Oh, yes, it's 5:20 p.m.
All right, so have a good
Yes.
evening. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. My
All
pleasure.
right.
All the very best. Okay.
You too. Okay.
Yeah, bye-bye. Yeah, bye.
All right. So to our participants here, so we would have learned a few things. We would have gained more information, and we know that knowledge is power. Once you know something new today, it will be built and built and built for you to go out there and use it. So if this session was something that you gained knowledge from, we're going to ask that you complete a few of our evaluation forms, and that would be circulated by my colleague, Mrs. Pandui, as well as the fact that you're here at this session. If you did not register before, we're going to ask that you do so now. We have the physical register, as well as if you scan the barcode that will, well, it is on your screen now. Scan the barcode to your phone and you register your presence for this session. All right? I also have another announcement. So yesterday, I believe most of you who are here today were here yesterday. So the Ministry of Health and Wellness, they are here today with their team, and they are conducting the immunization process. So if any of you would have taken along the cards for your children, they are here and they are willing to facilitate you and your child to be vaccinated, all right? I am not certain about the adults, but when you go around there, you can go and query for yourselves if you are not vaccinated. Clear? All right. So thank you for joining us, for those who were here this morning and those who joined us for the second session. We have 2 more sessions to go. So we will take a break for lunch. So we return here at 1 p.m. where we have 2 additional sessions for the afternoon. And remember to highlight our Early Childhood Commission's 5th Professional Development Institute on the social media pages using the hashtag ECCPDI 2024 and 12 Standards Matters. So enjoy your lunch until I see you at 1 p.m. sharp.